The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The Jets were on the practice field with 100% attendance at the first OTA practice open for the media to watch. Robby Sabo was there. He's going to join us and provide a full recap. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's go, Knicks. Let's hit it and get it started. Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. Here on a Wednesday, we say hello for the first time after a Jet practice in 2025 to Robby Sabo. Robby, I hope you have dried off. I know it was a wet one out there at one Jets drive, but the first official practice the media was allowed to attend with both the veterans and the rookies. I want to just defer to you. You could take the answer here any direction you want to go. What was the biggest takeaway from what you saw out there on the field?
Fundamentals. Glenn will not swerve around the fundamentals. He knows, these guys are human. And Jets fans heard it millions of times with Saleh. How often did he say, hey, these guys are professionals. I don't need to tell them. Believe me, they know. When someone would bring up the accountability aspect. With Glenn in these OTAs and these practices, you see base level drills. Like you see stuff that, not a lot of NFL teams go through. And we saw it today with OTAs. He's not going to skimp on the fundamentals because he knows these guys are human.
So when you were out there watching him coach, what stood out? Like what were some of the interactions like that maybe stuck out to you as he was moving and grooving throughout the field?
He's more of at least from today, he's more of a Bear Bryant type in which, he's not up in the, in the bucket where the crane used to lift Bear Bryant all the way up to the top. He's not doing that. He's somewhat in the mix, but and at this point, especially early, it makes more sense. He's a watch and see type guy. He's trying to get an understanding of each of his players and what makes them tick and stuff like that. And I think the interpersonal stuff, one-on-one, is coming more behind the scenes, not on the practice field. And that's not to say he doesn't mix it up at all in the practice field. He does. But from what I can sense, he wants to delegate to his coaches and have them really in the mix one-on-one while he takes a step back and views everything.
Let's talk about Justin Fields. Your first impressions watching the new starting quarterback for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you'd expect, honestly. He was late on a few reads, but that's not uncommon. First and foremost, when we first got out there, they were in teams. They also ran 7-on-7s. The attention to detail is there. The pace is there. As soon as they break the huddle, they run up to the line. They don't mess around. Same thing with the D-line. I saw once where tight end went in motion. And I can't listen. I'm not going to go too into detail, as you guys know, but D-line, when a tight end went for motion, made a balanced look into, more of a two tight end look on one side, not an unbalanced line, but unbalanced based on tight ends. The D-line was all over it. They weren't lackadaisical. They were on top of it. They got right into position. It's something that we saw in the previous few years. Sometimes the defense wasn't ready. They're calling out things. They're looking, and it happens to all teams, but the degree in which it happens, I think it was pretty poor for the Jets under the Saleh regime. The attention to detail was there. That's number one. Number two, it was just helmets. So they kind of It wasn't 100% all the time. So let's put that out there. Fields, he was good. I mean, he wasn't bad. He wasn't tremendous. He was good. He was solid. But it was really a pay attention to the scheme, grasp the concepts type thing. I'm hesitant to call it a walkthrough, but at times it definitely wasn't 100%. He hooked up with Garrett Wilson in 7-on-7 a couple of times, 2 or 3, might have even been 3 times. One of them was a nice 20-plus yard gain, middle of the field area, hooked up with Lazard for a nice one near the seams. But that little run he had, it felt like the offensive concepts were perfect to destroy whatever defensive coverage they were throwing out there. But I'd say with Fields overall, a tick late on certain things, but I don't know where his eyes were, based on where we were up top. It's impossible to know what he was looking at first, if that was a second read. So a little late, but I think he looked solid overall.
It's going to be interesting to see just how dynamic him and Garrett can be together, because they have that relationship that we all know dates back to college.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett could not have, given more praise to Fields when he spoke to the media earlier. And we'll do a lot more on Garrett's comments on the show tomorrow. I want to stick to what occurred at practice today. But I did love this one quote I pulled from Aaron Glenn. He was asked for his impressions on watching Garrett Wilson so far, and I think this answer should excite every Jet fan.
Give him the ball as much as possible. Give him the ball as much as possible. That's it.
Are we going to see Garrett Wilson get the ball as much as possible in the Tanner Engstrand, Justin Fields offense, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be their intent. Whether it happens more often with Fields moving forward as opposed to Rodgers the last 2 years, or Zach Wilson, is up for debate. It's going to depend based on, how well they rush the ball, how well they're coaching, how well the offensive coaching staff does in terms of concepts and strategy, and how quickly the O-line can get off this season. If they're gelling early, then they're going to run the ball better and things are going to work. Because listen, if the rush game doesn't work, nothing will work with this type of offense. This is a specific offense for Fields in which they are going to lead the world in rush attempts. And if they can't run the ball, Garrett Wilson's going to have a rough, unfun season. If they can rush the ball, then he's going to have a hell of a lot of targets. Him, Mason Taylor, Brees, the receiver 2, who's going to rotate it, with my firm belief. And if Arian Smith can get some playing time early, he's going to have even more targets, because Arian Smith's going to take the top off the defense, which gives more room underneath for Garrett.
I read that Jeremy Ruckert had a nice day. Pivotal offseason and then training camp for Ruckert, with the Jets basically saying, we don't trust you to be our guy, so we're going to take a tight end in the second round. Thoughts on Ruckert? What did you see from him today?
Yeah, I mean, he was solid in 7-on-7s. Nothing outstanding. I think most of his receptions, and I'm trying to hesitate in terms of calling out the concept, but most of his receptions were, underneath stuff, nothing crazy. And I think that's the way it rolled. It's one of those things, and we can't talk about first team, second team, that type of thing, but imagine as fans, think about OTAs, rookies incoming. Very few rookies are going to be thrust into that starting role per se. So I think that had a little bit to do with it.
Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. So if you want to ask Robbie a specific question on what he saw at practice today, the first practice that was open for the media to observe in the Justin Fields, Aaron Glenn era, write it in, and we will bring it up on the screen and address it.
Jake, I'll be right back.
Robbie has
kill a couple minutes for me. I'll be right back.
Oh, boy.
I promise, folks.
Oh, goodness. How am I going to survive without Robby Sabo? Well, I'll tell you how. I want to hit on something that broke at the end of our first show today. The tush push is here to stay. And the Jets were among the teams that wanted it to stay, which, going off of what Robbie was just saying there about the emphasis on running the football, that is going to be something that I think the Jets could utilize. Fields is 11 of 12 in his career on quarterback tush pushes. however you want to define it. The stat was floating around today. So the Jets voted in favor of the tush push, and I think that's a good thing. 11 first downs on 12 push sneaks for Justin Fields. That is a good thing. So I like that. The other thing I want to bring up is coming out of the NFL owners meetings in Minneapolis, we have a new award. The NFL now is going to give away a Protector of the Year award, an award for the league's best offensive lineman. Recognize the big fellas, according to NFL Vice President Troy Vincent. I'd like to acknowledge that we recognize the big fella every day on this show. Shout out to Dylan for a great tweet on that one. So, new NFL award, tush push, here to stay. And the Lions did not get approval. Or, excuse me, the Lions proposed rule of reseeding the playoffs and basically making divisions worthless because if the wild card team has a better record, they'd host the football game, did not approve. So I think that's a good thing as well. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Robby will be right back with us here, and then he will give us more of a recap on what he saw today at practice. I will pull up Rich Cimini's tweet, and we can go through that all together, get another eyewitness observation on today's practice. You know what? It's a little too big to pull up on the screen, so I'll just read it to you guys. Here were Rich's observations from practice. Quote, the Jets had perfect attendance or close to it. Let's put it this way. Every player that matters was on the field. Mind you, these are voluntary workouts. Afterward, Aaron Glenn said it's a sign of a positive culture being established. More takeaways from Cimini, who was there. Quote, it wasn't a crisp day for the offense, but the conditions were awful, rainy and chilly. It was notable that the first play of 7-on-7 was a completion. Fields to Garrett Wilson. Old college teammates reunited. You will see a lot of that in 2025. Glenn said the goal is to get the ball to Wilson as much as possible. Fields hooked up with another ex-college teammate, Jeremy Ruckert, a few times in 11-on-11. Ruckert got a lot of reps and looked good. Critical year for him, especially with the arrival of second-round pick Mason Taylor. Fields' mobility was on display as he escaped the pocket for a couple of scrambles. For the first time in forever, the Jets have a QB who is a threat to do damage with his legs. Fields didn't get many downfield passing opportunities. One downfield throw to Josh Reynolds was way off target. He also took at least 3 sacks. Will McDonald and Rashad Weaver had some nice pressure on the edge. And today was the first time we saw Will McDonald out there rocking the number 9. In a late game hurry-up situation, both the first and second team offenses failed to get into the end zone. So score one for the defense. One highlight was the offense. One highlight for the offense was a sliding catch by Alan Lazard on a throw by Tyrod Taylor. Kicking competition. Both Anders Carlson and Caden Davis went 4 for 5 on field goals. Carlson was good from 55. Davis missed from 55. So some takeaways there from Rich. Robby will hopefully join us in just a bit, and then we'll bring him back up on the screen. In the meantime, comments, questions, super chats, fire those off. Jet fans, how we feeling about the tush push being here to stay? Jets being one of the teams that voted for it. So I think the Jets are on the right side of history here. I certainly do like that. Reminder, this week's raffle prize features a signed Walt Clyde Frazier jersey, a signed Broadway Joe Namath jersey, and we've added another prize, a signed C.J. Mosley jersey. Those are the top 3 prizes in this week's ASMANIAC raffle. So 3 prizes and counting. Clyde Frazier, Joe Namath, C.J. Mosley, signed, authenticated jerseys that if you win, I will send to you. Mike Dems is the first person to send in a super chat today. Let's see what he says. Is $10 enough to play Allen's embarrassing Jet chant? We all could use a laugh. F you, Allen. I don't even want to give Allen that type of attention, Mike Dems, but $10 is certainly enough for me to play this.
Fuck you, Allen.
So on that note, the show now continues. Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Rich says smash the like. If all of you watching could hit the thumbs up button, it does a tremendous amount of good towards this show continuing to grow. Finding more Jet fans that could be part of our community here. Jay writes, in Fields with legitimate coaching that utilizes his strengths and weaknesses. Look, the most important coach on the team besides the head coach is the offensive coordinator. Tanner Engstrand needs to have a plan if the New York Jets are going to be able to be better than we think. Because so much of what they're going to try to do this year is based on, hey, we have this young, talented quarterback that we think there's so much more for us to be able to tap into with him. And we're going to be the team that's going to do it. You don't exactly think quarterback factory when it comes to the Jets or an organization that's known for developing young quarterbacks. Maybe the Jets could change that narrative. Here was a photo from yesterday's OTA of Fields and Engstrand chopping it up. So much of what has to go right for the Jets to not suck is in the hands of these two gentlemen on your screen. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We're testing a new feature on the show where the comments can appear on the screen in real time. So let me know in the comments if you're a fan of seeing the comments on the actual screen. I would say the majority have been positive, but we're testing it out for those of you who are watching the show live. Larry Romano, who's normally incredibly negative, says it's a brand new day, Jake. I hope you're right, Larry. Peter Castro says they're going to be very good. I like this optimism. Edward Ziff with a super chat. Helping the runner advance used to be a penalty. Well, guess what? The way the play is, it's not a penalty. So sign me up, Edward. Jack talks Jets. Let's hope the Jets can be a functional team. That's all I care about. The bar is too low. I want to win games. Win football games, man. That's where the bar's at. All right, let's mix in some calls here while we wait for Robby to come back on. And we're going to tap into a higher power to start things off. Ladies and gentlemen, Jets Jesus is first up today. Hello, Jets Jesus.
Hey, Jake. How's it going?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Chilling, dude. Feeling good. Liking hearing coach's press conference and getting some, little highlights that, as you said in the first show, nothing to be too excited about. They're throwing footballs to each other with nobody guarding them and so on and so forth in those. But hey, that's fine. We can get excited about some spirals and some deep passes and Garrett Wilson reaching behind him to catch a pass that's a little behind him. But whatever. We can see it and be happy and enjoy it.
Amen, man.
Tush push is interesting. I'm not surprised that the Jets voted positive for it. So it's obviously going to be something that it benefits Fields. We know he's strong. We know he can run, and we know that a lot of the offense is we don't know. We just assume a lot of the offense. And I know Robby Sabo just said it right before you had to tap out for a moment. That a lot's going to focus on the run. So anything that helps the run is going to be beneficial to us. So that definitely makes sense that got voted in. It's an interesting rule to me in general. I don't know how much we want to talk about this, but you can tell me to move on to the next topic if you want. As we've touched upon a little bit, I officiate high school football. In high school football, any assisting of the runner is illegal. So you can push the pile, but you wouldn't be able to make direct contact and push any type of runner being the ball carrier forward. But, we know the origin of football as well is just dudes saying, hey, I'm going to run the ball over you. And the other side saying, no, you're not. So if we go to classic football, assisting the runner is definitely assisting the runner is kind of traditional classic football. So I don't really have an opinion on it. I just kind of think it's an interesting thing to bat around with. I don't know. I've always been a believer in all sports of don't take things away because you can't beat it, right? It was one of the things I really like how you and a lot of the other fans handled Tatum going out in the last series, where you want to beat the team at their best, and that says a lot about you, right? I want to see the Knicks win with everybody of their opponents on the court, because then there's not only is there no excuses, but it's your best team beating their best team.
Amen.
And so for me, it's don't take a rule away because some teams are struggling with it. Learn how to beat it. And that's kind of where I stand on that and a lot of things. So, whatever. That's my tush push takes.
There's nothing like a take on the tush push from Jets Jesus. Great call.
Thanks, bud. Oh, I got more if you want more.
You got more? Let it rip.
Sweet. You were getting into the kicking contest, and I know obviously we're at the very beginning of it. The young guy's name is Cade, right? Cade's the new guy.
Cade, is it? God, what's the guy's name? Hold on.
Either way, I believe, and you can double check me on this while you're looking it up. You said
Davis. Caden Davis.
Oh, Caden. Sorry. Yep, Caden Davis. Okay. So you said he missed the deep kick, and we didn't get the information from Samini on what the kick was that whatever the other guy's name is that begins with a P that he missed. That
Carlson
means he
hit from 55. Davis missed from 55.
Right. So Davis misses from 55, but we know they're both 4 and 5, which means the veteran guy missed an easier kick.
Right.
So, I mean, that's, just kind of, whatever, reading between the lines. That's interesting to me.
Can I point out that Jets Jesus is the ultimate diehard, that he is breaking down kicker stats from one OTA practice in May. I love it.
It just stood out to me right away where I was like, I don't know. I don't have a high opinion. I think that most of us don't have a high opinion of Rich Samini. But I was like, as you're reading off his stuff, he still brings us information. So we should always be paying attention to it, in my opinion. But, that was kind of immediately what stuck out to me, where I was like, all right, you're going to point out Caden missed the deep kick, but you're going to say they both missed the same. Tell me what kick the other guy missed. Like, I want to know what kick the other guy missed. Did the other guy miss an extra point? Like, to me, that's a way bigger deal.
When Robby comes back, I will ask him if he has that information.
There was another show that I was listening to that was talking about Caden Davis a little bit and his history that I thought was interesting. And it talked about his ability to run fakes and be able to throw the football. And he had really good stats in college with being able to throw the ball and be successful on play fakes. So I think that's something to be aware of and a nice fun plus going on with him. So I think that's cool. And I don't know, what else do we got? And I like the idea of Alan Lazard running with the second or third team. We'll give everybody else opportunities. We know what that guy is.
Look, I get that, but I do think they're just going to rotate a bunch of guys in and out.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't make too much of, Lazard's play came with Tyrod at quarterback. Like Garrett and Tyrod are going to work together a lot too, and we're not going to assume, is Garrett spot in danger? Like it's OTA, so they're going to mix and match with everyone.
Totally. It's a good point. It was just something that to me, I was like, ooh, maybe that means he was getting way less times with the ones and those other guys are getting some prominent shots at it. But yeah, you're totally right on that one.
Jets Jesus, love the passion, man. Great call.
Thanks, bud.
Jets Jesus checking in. Robby is not back with us just yet, but he will be. He did give me a heads up that he was expecting a call for a family thing he's got going on. You didn't think it happened during the show, but it did. So guess what? The show goes on. The Bad Fella says Dylan Terram is the best analyst Jake brings on. Well, you're in luck. Dylan's joining us tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we got quite the show planned. But I love Dylan Terram for a lot of reasons. One, the man is damn good at his job. But two, he's a regular viewer of this show. He's an Asmaniac. This tweet here about you, Bat Fella, exemplifies it. Jay Quest was all over it too, by the way. Big Fella, the NFL announced an award in your honor. It's true. The Big Fella Award. Speaking of awards, I can tell you that Boomtown is hard at work on putting together an Asmaniac award style show. The Azzies, we might be calling it. So stay tuned for that. That will get us through some slower times when we get to the dog days over the summer before training camp. So be on the lookout for that because I think that'll be a lot of fun. We will get to more of your calls right now on the show. Joining us on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is someone who will give us an up-close and personal perspective. David T.
I got my eye on you. Checkmate me full screen. It's fireball whiskey time. David motherfucking T.
Hey, Jake.
David T. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Go Knicks. We don't have to get into that. I'm loving it.
Though. Let's go, baby. Right after I get done with this show, I'm off to Madison Square Garden. Let's go.
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you, Jake. And my opinion is it's going to be a hard-fought series. The storylines and all the personalities and all that kind of stuff. It just makes for a great series. I'd like to say. I think it could very well go 7. I'd like to say Knicks in 6. From my lips to God's ears. So go Knicks, man. And I'm happy for you, Jake. The place will be rocking.
It's going to be loud, and the Knicks have to win Game 1 if you believe in their history that they've never won a playoff series in which they have lost the first game at home ever.
And there is something to be said for that. And man, if they could win tonight, that would just be dynamite.
Sign me up for that, David. All right.
Yeah. So the Jets thing, Robby was talking about Aaron Glenn and kind of comparing him to Bear Bryant. And I remember in Joe Namath's documentary, he was up in the bucket with Coach Bear, and I guess Coach Bear had the Southern drawl, and he couldn't really understand it, but it was really intense. And then if you give Aaron Glenn, with the way he does things, a little bit of a compliment, comparing to Bear Bryant, can't argue with that. But my question was going to be to you and Robby, as far as Justin Fields goes. He's been in the league for a while. He's had some downs, some ups, and all that kind of stuff. But can you detect any leadership qualities? I mean, is he a follower, or and in my opinion, I guess a quarterback really, not has to be a leader, but I mean, it's kind of like a Tom Brady type thing. Can you detect any leadership qualities, and can it be taught?
The early returns, I have been surprised by how effusive Aaron Glenn has been about Justin Fields, raving about his leadership. And they even asked him about how he's kind of like a quieter guy, and they go, but they all pay attention to how he works. Like Glenn even used the Parcells line on, like, he's not a celebrity quarterback. He's truly all about putting in the work and all that. We'll do some more on that, I'm sure, throughout this week. But I think the early returns on Fields, I mean, they're ecstatic about him. Now, we'll find out because we don't know.
Yeah, you know what, Jake? You don't have to be loud to be a leader.
It's true. Look at you, David.
Well, I don't know. I always prided myself on being a follower rather than a leader, but hey, I guess I'm the ultimate chill pill.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T.
I got my eye on you, Jake. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now is Robby Sabo. Robby, welcome back.
Apologize, Asmaniacs. And David T, did he just describe himself as the ultimate chill pill? Did I hear that?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So what were we talking about? Fields and what else? What else are we talking about here?
Fields leadership. But I do have some questions for you, but I'm going to defer to the audience for this next one. The Bat Fella Super Chats. How was Malachi Corley today?
I mean, he caught a couple balls, but it wasn't anything flashy. He again, I'm not going to talk about who he played with, but hey, his number, I like the number a lot more. I'll tell you that. That 6 looks pretty good.
How about Will McDonald? I heard some rumblings of him playing really well today with the new number.
Yeah, the 9 stands out for sure. And listen, when it's teams and it's not full tilt and it's just helmets and it's 7-on-7, well, 7-on-7 he's not out there, but teams, you're gonna see the quick jumps. You're gonna see the quick guys off the edge, and that's Will McDonald. So he flashed, and there was a couple times he got to Fields and then had to stop and just put his hands on his hip because you're not going to bring down the quarterback. So yeah, he was pretty flashy today, I'd say.
What else can you tell us about individual players that caught your attention?
AZ Thomas, there was a play. It was longer developing, and the receiver was across the field, and I didn't catch him off the jump, but I know he started with the receiver, and AZ Thomas maintained perfect positioning on the inside hip, trailing the entire time. It was pretty damn impressive. And whoever it was, Fields or Tyrod, they were looking at, that was the primary. They were looking at that receiver and couldn't throw it. He just completely shut it down. And to not have any help anywhere, one-on-one, to shut it down like that, it's pretty damn good. So AZ, I thought, was pretty impressive.
Let's see. Bad Fella thinks that you just took a giant Gorman. Is this true?
What's a giant Gorman?
You don't know what Charles Gorman's all about?
Oh, yeah. No. So a Gorman, you don't need to go to the WC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, you don't need to go to the wash house. You could just Gorman anywhere you want. So nah, it wasn't that.
Now, I do want to get your thoughts on something. But there was an incident that occurred on the Bobby Midnight Show. I want your take on it. You ready?
Yes.
Hi, Charles. Hey, guys. Glad you're all dressed up.
He can't stand up. He's taking a shit.
Are you in the bathroom?
The bathroom, bro.
Yes, I'm in the bathroom, Bobby.
Are you taking a dump? Are you taking a dump?
You're gonna have that crap.
That man was way too concentrated.
He couldn't show the fit because his pants were around his ankles.
I'm not having that shit again. Charles, you're not coming in anymore until you get that.
Indubitably.
Yo,
What happened?
He's in the bathroom calling my show again.
I don't want to see that.
Oh shit, man.
Anyway,
I don't come in to take a shit on your show. Charles, do never ever come on my show getting in the crapper, okay?
My bad. Anyway, I just want to stop by and say hi. Sorry about the bathroom incident.
Your thoughts on how that went down?
I gotta be honest. I was looking at Lane Train most of the time. I couldn't. I didn't see I heard the sound effect. Hopefully, that was a inserted sound effect.
No, that was real.
I don't believe you.
It was real. There was real floppage.
I take it back. You can't do a Gorman anywhere. You got to go to the WC. Oh my God!
I told you.
He's taken this to another level. I mean, I've heard of taking unfortunate nicknames and characteristics to a certain level, but this is beyond.
Daniel says, "How can I gift a membership?" Daniel, instead of sending super chat, you hit gift membership. You got to be on your computer or a laptop in order to do it. If you want to enter the raffle, $10 super chat is the lowest super chat that gets you eligible. It gets you in for 2. And if you just tuned in late, Wall-Clad Frazier jersey, prize 1. Joe Namath jersey, prize 2. CJ Mosley jersey, all 3 of these signed and authenticated. The top 3 prizes in the upcoming raffle. All right, I want to get into something that we talked about when you were gone. So I was reading a tweet from Samini.
Yes.
And the tweet said that in the kicking competition, both kickers today were 4 out of 5. Anders Carlson hit a kick from 55. Caden Davis was 4 of 5. Davis missed from 55 once again, and Carlson was good from 55. So what distance did Carlson miss from?
I don't know the Carlson one, but the Caden Davis one was a deep bomb. However, the miss he had, it was way off. It was short and to the left. Now, I wouldn't read too much into it because it was just awful here in northern Jersey. It was wet, it was cold, 55 degrees, windy. So I wouldn't read too much into it. But yeah, the miss by Davis was pretty awful looking. It'll be interesting. I haven't really thought about the kickers much, but it is wide open, Jake. It's I don't know who has the edge or what's going to happen right now.
What stood out to you beyond just the kicking situation when they did the special teams period?
Not much, to be honest. I mean, they lined up for kicks. It wasn't full tilt, and that was the main thing. The miss, it was an ugly miss. I actually shouted out to who was next to me, Faria and Dan Leberfeld. I said, "Oh, Doug Bryan," because it was so short. And Jets fans don't like that name based on 2004 Pittsburgh, but nothing much else in terms of special teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a while, but we have a 20 spot from Frank P. The Frank P. Let's go, Frank.
Hey, go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Here we go. 20 raffle entries from Frank. It means I got to put on my Jets helmet and shout out the members. Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches. Strapped up, baby. Strapped up. Here we go. If you hear your name called, you thank Frank P., Charles A. Gorman, Barney Miller, Dante, Jetstrong, Stephen James, Stephen Origia, Dirty Raygun, Austin Davidow, Kona, Chronozon, Judah, Mala NG, Jet Fan for Life, Acewin Nadajarian, Joe D, Source Gardner, MD, Gary Myron, Anthony's Alley, Mikey Boy, Jets LI, all receiving a channel membership there from the Frank P. Frank, thank you, as always, for your tremendous support of our show. Comments, questions, super chats, they cut the line. Let's keep it rolling here. If you have a question for Robby, write it in because he was at practice today, and you're not going to find too many shows that have someone on the day of a Jet OTA that can give you instant feedback on what he watched. Let's see. Larry says wet and windy is when you need your kicker the most. That's why it's good that they were outside today, right? You get
when I was driving in, I was wondering if Glenn was going to move it inside or not. And true to who I thought Glenn was, he did not. At the same time, it wasn't really coming down as hard as it eventually did early in practice or before they went out. It wasn't fun to be outside and up high. The Bear Bryant level. I heard David T talk about Bear Bryant. It was. It's interesting. It's interesting that he opted to stay outside because that first day of rookie minicamp he went inside, but it can't blame him. It was just awful out.
Which rookies stood out today?
Arian Smith. Nice catch. I won't say the route, but let's put it this way. It was a route in which
it wasn't just a go ball.
Wasn't a go ball, folks.
Wow.
It wasn't a go. It wasn't a 9. It wasn't a vertical.
Take that, everyone who said he's not a good route runner.
Yeah, and this route was a route that is set up based on a vertical, and he planted. It was pretty sharp. It was pretty crisp, and I think it was Tyrod who hit him. Anticipated it nicely. So 1-on-1, burnt the dude. He can move. He can move. And if he can be locked in terms of the offense and do what they're asking of him, he's going to open up a lot for the rest of the offense. So he was solid. Malachi Moore, I didn't really see nothing notable. Who else?
What about Taylor?
Nothing crazy notable either there, but
any reps with Fields as the quarterback with Taylor?
I think there were some, but nothing notable. With the 7-on-7s, with the teams, there was a lot of receiver play. We mentioned Garrett, we mentioned Lazard, and the reason that was, I think, because the concepts were perfect. Like every time the defense ran a certain coverage, like cover 3, there were 4 verts on it. Like every time, cover 2, post with 2 outside goes. It was the perfect concept for every coverage, and that means you're going to hit something downfield, which happened a lot. And then Ruckert cleaned up on the underneath stuff pretty much. Running backs, big time rotation. D-line, big time rotation. It's not shocking though. That's the NFL today. So rookies and AZ Thomas. I mentioned AZ Thomas. I think he probably had the best day of all the rookies.
Tanner Engstrand and Justin Fields pictured on your screen. These are the two that could have potentially the biggest impact on whether or not this team is better than most think they will be.
Yeah, and I said this, I don't know if I wrote it, but when they signed Fields, it's a vote of confidence for Fields, but I think it's much more of a vote of confidence for the Jets coaching staff from Glenn. Because Fields, as a rookie head coach, okay, if you think he has more than he's shown in the NFL, that's one thing, and I get it completely. But if he doesn't, you still have to feel comfortable your coaching could get it done. So he feels comfortable with Engstrand and the O-line coach, Hayden, and all these guys that they could really get it done and scheme guys open and work an offense with a one-read type feel sometimes. And, we'll see if they can.
Jay Quest wants to know, Robbie, did you stay awake for the entire OTA?
Yeah, of course. Come on.
Yeah, Jay Quest.
What do you want me to do? To tell you how well the guy stretched his groin? No.
Yeah, Jay Quest. Is that what you want? This sicko?
You want me to tell you how well he said? Listen, guys, if it's a walkthrough feel with helmets, you're not gonna see much or get much. That's just the way it is. It's OTAs. They're going at 55, 60% a lot of the times. AZ with some great coverage, Garrett with a few catches, Lazard 3. And when you can't say who's on the first team, who's on the second team, what the route concepts are, what the plays are, you could be awake. And
Tony G wants to know, who does your hair pre-live?
What's that?
Who does your hair pre-live?
My right and left hand, I switch.
I see. Let's see. Embolette, Fields choosers, stand the F up. Do you think Justin Fields will play well enough to warrant having truthers defend him?
If the O-line comes together, then he's going to put up some stats, and the Jets are going to lead the way. They lead the league in rushing. It's not definitely one, but in the top 3, top 5. 2 years ago, the Chicago Bears finished second in rushing. And, in terms of how well they were actually rushing the ball, they didn't deserve number 2, but Fields was the quarterback. So if the O-line plays well, Fields is going to have a hell of a start to the season, I think.
Peter Castro writes in, I want to know about Lazard. Is he there? Well, Robbie, don't respond to this. We only respond to questions about Alan Lazard from Peter Castro in the form of $500 super chats.
Yes, that's true. Number 1. And number 2, didn't I already tell everyone Lazard caught a seam ball today?
You did.
Wake up. Don't be sleeping.
Is he actually going to be on this team? Like, really?
Hey, listen, it's the receiver 2 right now. I don't think it's going to be anyone all year. I think it's going to rotate between Reynolds, Lazard, Arian Smith, Corley. Will he be on this team? Man, it's close. I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 right now. It's I don't think Glenn will mind it because he could block. And if guys could block, that's what this offense is going to be about. Now, when Jets fans are frustrated,
he can't catch, and he plays wide receiver.
When Jets fans are frustrated that they're not, they're 30th in pass yards and they can't come back if they get into a hole early, Lazard's going to feel the brunt of it, and Fields as well. So I get it. I get it completely. But right now, considering it's May 21st, he's on the team, I'd have to say the odds are that he's going to be on the team.
The bad fellow wants to know, Robbie. Someone said Will McDonald put on 15 pounds. Not someone. Aaron Glenn said he put on 15 pounds.
Yeah, he put on 15 pounds. And if he could, if he could be a little bit more physical, and God, imagine he does some Reggie White bull rushing after adding 15 pounds. He'd be an unstoppable pass rusher, honestly.
Well, Glenn said that it's going to make him a better all-around player. So
Yeah.
part of them being able to stop the run is a guy like Will McDonald getting better at it in his 3rd year in the league.
Yeah. And speaking of Lazard, Michael Clemens, I saw him out there, big number 72, who Jets fans love. I know that.
Oh, yeah. How was Clemens today? any offside penalties? Did
No.
Fields get him to go one way and then cut out to the other way?
No offside. And from Lazard and Clemens and all the usual suspects, I'll say this, no boneheaded actions, I guess, going off sides. Oh, the other thing is this too. Yes, Glenn is about fundamentals. There were refs there today, which is pretty insane to me for an OTAs.
I love that because remember Salah didn't have refs at all last summer.
Oh, last year. And Salah had refs for, some scrimmage days during his summers, the first summer, second summer. Last year, they were supposed to show up for green and white. They weren't there, if I remember correctly.
They were not, and I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, and Glenn had him there today. So I think that's definitely notable. Another notable thing is when they break out in their second stretch session, the O-line breaks off from the rest of the team and does its own thing with those medicine balls and certain, I'm not even going to pretend to name what they're doing. I have no idea, but they're doing something new and different, which is interesting too. And definitely something I'm going to monitor.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Got a couple quick super chats for you here. First off, thank you to Daniel, who sent in a $10 super chat. That's 2 raffle entries when you send in a super chat of $10.
Go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Let's go next. Daniel says, how the running backs look. Robbie, your evaluation of the running backs, and give us any thoughts on Donovan Edwards as well. I think he's the most intriguing UDFA that the fans want to know about.
Edwards was out there a healthy amount. The rotation looked pretty even. I don't think anyone had more reps than the other guy, to be honest. Now, at times in teams, there's 1s versus 1s and 2 versus 2s. So I'm not looking at the 2s versus 2s. I'm looking at the 1s versus 1s. But at times, Edwards was in there, and it was just a rotation between all 4 guys: Hall, Allen, Davis, and Edwards. A lot of rotation, not much to say in terms of, hey, this guy looked good and getting through the first level, second level, because they're not tackling. They're kind of going through the motions. And a lot of it was trying to get the concepts down, get the techniques down, start very, very slow and try to ramp it up, I think is Glenn's plan. But in terms of a 4th running back, I'd be thrilled with Edwards. I don't like the number 40. I think of Trenton Cannon right away. But yeah, I think there's something there. There's something there. I don't think Davis or Allen should be worried about him coming from behind, but as a nice RB4, yeah, he's solid.
Jeffrey with a super chat of $20. That is 5 raffle entries for Jeffrey. Thank you. What was your perception of Coach Glenn's interactions with his staff in terms of communication, coordination, or anything else you might have seen? DC, the head coach, not easy, but doable. As Glenn says, we are built for this shit.
He's more.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
I had to.
You had to do. What do you think? How many times have you played that so far since it happened? Give me a number.
The over-under is probably around.
I'm thinking of a number. I'll let you know.
800 maybe?
I was thinking 750, so somewhere in that range.
Well, I do 2 shows a day. He said that. When was the press conference? He said that in late January?
I think it was early February, but right around then.
It was early February, his introductory presser?
Was it right after the Super Bowl?
No, because they got rid of Rodgers after the Super Bowl already. On Super Bowl Sunday.
Good call.
Had it been late January.
Late January.
And I play at least twice per show, sometimes more. So someone who's better at math, because I am not good at anything math related, can maybe figure it out.
It's like 30, 140 days or so times. How many times do you think you play it?
At least twice a show.
And you do 2 shows a day?
Yeah, plus a Saturday or a Sunday show. Some days both.
Maybe around 600 times.
Yeah.
based on almost 600.
Well, I'll tell you what, to try and help increase the odds,
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
honestly, I'd play it even more if we didn't also get the famous Aaron Glenn speech from Hard Knocks that we turned into another drop that we play on the show.
You get the fuck out.
Yeah, Glenn. I think Glenn, he's trying to take in as much as he can from a broad perspective right now.
He watches this show as well. He's a big fan of the drops.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's-
yeah.
He's built for it, dude.
That's right.
Him and Dolan, both.
Dolan's beloved now. It's amazing how that works.
He's a genius, Jake. Don't you know it? He's a genius.
Hire the right people and stay out of the way. I think Woody can learn from Dolan.
Are you heading down there right after this?
Right when I'm done with you.
Interesting. Hey, it's I'm gonna get a temperature of your brain right now. Are you confident they're going to the finals, or are you still doing the expect the worst, hope for the best thing?
No, I think they're winning this series. I don't think it's gonna be easy. I have the Knicks in 6. I think they're gonna win. I think they're better than Indiana. It has bothered me. Like, the Pacers are good. I watched the Knicks only lose to them a year ago because they ran out of healthy bodies. I was at every game of that series last year in New York. I think the Knicks are better. I think this is their time. I do. I think they have the answers to contain Halliburton, and they only go as he goes. I think the Knicks are better equipped to handle the Indiana this year than they were a year ago. Who's guarding Towns on their team? If Towns stays out of foul trouble, he's going to average 30 a game in this series.
Yeah, I think I said the Knicks in 6-2 in our Slack channel in Knicks X or Nick X. Most were on Knicks in 7, which makes sense. People are going to take the home game, but I think 6-2. I think in Indiana makes sense.
And look, I don't think it will be easy because Indiana can have a game like we saw Boston where they just shoot lights out, and that's going to happen. And you don't want to get too high or too low. But I just think this team is like they can handle adversity. They can handle being punched in the face and respond. Like, I think the Detroit series got them ready for Boston. I think overcoming what they had to overcome in Boston will get them equipped for Indiana. Indiana, I mean, they really haven't had to overcome that much adversity. Cleveland kind of just fell apart in front of them,
Yeah, second straight year. I mean, their second round matchup just everyone got obliterated on the opponent's team. It's pretty insane. And Indiana, God, I grew up hating them. 93, 94. Okay, they got by. They started off 2-0 against Indiana, but since then, what is it now? They've won 5 of the last 6 series. It can't happen anymore, Jake.
Is it 5 of 6? Yeah,
it's 5 of 6 because it's 5 of 8 all time. And the Knicks won the first 2 in 93 and 94. So, yeah.
Well, they beat them in 99 when they went to
99.
when they went to the finals.
Lost last year, 2013, 2000, Ewing's last game ever. And 98 and 95, the Ewing finger roll.
I want revenge for the 2013 team because until this year, that was the best Knicks team that I've rooted for.
Can't get past Roy Hibbert.
No, the Game 6 block, that was tough. They lost, and they also lost Game 1 of that series at home. And if you look at the history of the Knicks, they have never won a playoff series where they've lost the first game at home. So you can't call Game 1 of a series a must-win, but it's a huge game tonight. You got to set the tone. They got to do what the Thunder did to the T-Wolves last night.
Wow, is that right? They never won a series after losing Game 1 at home. That's incredible.
Think about it. They lost to Indiana. Right?
The Reggie 8 points in 9 seconds or whatever it was in 95. Game 1 they lost. Yeah.
They lost the game against the Hawks the first year of Thibodeau. They lost that series. They lost Game 1 at home. When they lost to Miami a couple of years ago, when they were slight favorites, they lost Game 1 at the Garden that year too.
Yeah, and they should have beaten Miami too that year. Man, yeah, tonight's huge too.
It's a big game.
It's listen, every game is a must-win at this point, but it's crazy we're here. It's crazy in one sense because it is the NBA, and you'd never think a team like this with the Knicks could get there. But on the other hand, it's not. There's no dynasties. It's such a rare era in the NBA. There's no dynasties. I'm sorry, if Jason Tatum could win a championship, so can Jalen Brunson. Period.
100%.
So they have every shot that these other 4 teams have, no question.
John wants to know, am I sitting next to Spike Lee tonight? I'm actually in between Spike and Chalamet. The Garden really hooked me up, Robbie. Very, very kind of them.
You don't want to sit next to Tracy Morgan? Take your chances?
I'm still nervous about him throwing up on me after what happened a couple months back.
Yeah. Poor bastard.
A couple Jet questions for you here. This one is from Craig. It's more of a statement, but we'll get your take on it. Super Chats cuts the line, and then Zach, you got some good questions, so we'll get to yours in a moment. I want to be optimistic, but wide receiver depth is scary. From what you saw, I mean, it's really hard when they're not in full pads. They're not doing tackling or any of that. But do you feel any better about the wide receiver depth after watching it in person today, or is it still concerning yours?
It's still, I mean, listen, it's still a concern. I would say this, though. The depth, the overall depth, I don't think is too bad. It's just the top of the depth. Like, they have no number 2. And if Garrett Wilson gets hurt, could you imagine what you're trotting out there? So I understand what you guys are trying to say.
I can imagine. I watched the 2020 Jets.
Yeah.
That's what their wide receiver room is right now.
Around
if Garrett's not there.
It's not good. Around receiver 6, 7 is not bad. I think their depth is okay. I just don't think.
Well, they don't have a 2.
Yeah, the 2, 3, 4 is rough, and I don't feel better or any worse based on today. What I do feel better about is the confirmation of, I think there's going to be several parts that make receiver 2 as whole as possible. That's what I feel better about. I think that's a firm plan. Arian Smith in on 3rd and long, 3rd and passing to take the top off or go jet motion. Corley in there. Corley's the wild card, because if Corley can get on the field, he could do a lot of different things. And Jets fans are down on Corley, but I wouldn't be down on Corley. He can really show up this year, and don't wave him away right away. I mean, he's still a 3rd round pick. And then Reynolds and Lazard, they're going to be the blockers on first down. I mean, I know it sucks. Come September, you see Lazard or Reynolds starting at receiver 2 and 3. It looks terrible. I get it. But they're in there to block. And then when it's 3rd and long, Arian Smith, Corley, some other guys come in there. And I think that's the way they're going to do it.
I've just pulled up for old time's sake the 2020 Jets wide receiver depth chart. Remove Garrett Wilson from our current depth chart, and you tell me if you would take the 2025 Jets receivers or the 2020 Jets. Prashad Perryman, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder were the top 3, followed by Vincent Smith, Jeff Smith, and Braxton Berrios.
Oh, you said 2020. Okay, I was thinking further back.
The 2020 Jets depth chart at wide receiver compared to the 2025 Jets depth chart at wide receiver without Garrett Wilson.
Say it again. Perryman, Mims,
Crowder,
Vincent
Smith, Jeff Smith, Braxton Berrios.
I'm probably taking this unit.
It's not by much, though. It's kind of scary.
No, it's not by much, but I'm probably taking this unit. They signed. Yeah, the Perryman signing was strange. Always hurt. Had talent, but, it was never going to work out in terms of a home run signing. It was kind of just a get us to next year type signing, it felt like. But the wild cards here, Arian
they should have
Smith,
brought back Robbie Anderson, and they screwed that one up.
Yeah, I mean, he was rough too. I mean, so even if you think about it, if Robbie Anderson wasn't as great as his numbers suggested, they weren't even good before 2020.
He did have 1,000 yards that first year with Carolina, though. They could have used him.
He did. Jersey dude. I love my Jersey dudes and guys named Robbie, but I digress. I'll take this year's unit because Arian Smith and Corley, they could really listen. We don't know. They could really turn into something.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Good question here from Zachary, who wants to know your thoughts on the Jets O-line. I know they will take some time to learn the playbook and scheme. I mean, it's also really hard to evaluate O-linemen when they can't fully hit, right? You can't be as physical when you're not allowed to do it at that position.
Yeah, there's really nothing to what I like so far. And I think this goes into it too. What you see from Hayden coaching, they seem connected. They seem together. And in teams and 7-on-7s, there are no mistakes. There are no gaffes, in other words. And maybe that's because they're not going all out. A lot of it was a walkthrough type feel with helmets. We'll see. Will there be gaffes when they're going more all out in training camp, in actual scrimmage play, where it's nearly 100% without taking them down to the ground? That'll be the true test. But I just feel like they're a lot more together right now. And there's an intent on hustling, getting up to the line and paying attention to detail. And that starts at the O-line. It really does.
Let's see. Zach also wants your take on the top 3 differences so far with Glenn versus Saleh OTAs.
Number one is, being okay with going with fundamentals, surface level stuff, drills in which, not every pro team runs because, as I said before, Saleh says these guys are professionals. They know it's on them. I don't have to tell them. It's the opposite with Glenn. He wants them to go through it again. I posted a video today of Fields throwing balls to his receivers, to his weapons, just going through a short area catching drill, which you'd see, JV teams run. And you really wouldn't see that often, if ever, from Saleh. So I think it's that, number one. Number two, you'd think Glenn would mix it up more with the players during practice than Saleh. No, I don't think so. I think Saleh mixed it up a lot more. But is that a bad thing that he's not? Not necessarily, because he's taking a step back and trying to take everything in and look at the full picture during practice. He could mix it up off the field. So there's 2. And number 3, the overall attention to detail. There's an intent that they have a specific mission at hand. I mentioned the D-line reacting to motion, getting set, getting ready, so they're not caught off guard when the ball is snapped. And that's a clear difference compared to the last regime.
Question from Adam, who says, do you think the Jets would entertain trading Tyrod Taylor if there was a reasonable return?
No, I don't think so. I mean, who's the backup in that scenario?
Right. It's not like they didn't draft anyone. Why? I don't understand the trade. Tyrod's helpful. This seems better than we think. And all of a sudden, Justin Fields, who plays a style where he's going to get hit as a runner, gets banged up. Tyrod Taylor could go out there and keep you afloat for a couple of weeks. You're not automatically screwed. That's the whole point of signing him.
If it's a critical position, QB2, even if he doesn't take a single snap all year. I think that's something fans overlook at times.
He just wrote, if Fields is a bust, you tank. They're not. You think Aaron Glenn, with his mentality, wants this team to ever lose games on purpose? It's not happening.
No, not happening. And even if Tyrod doesn't step on the field once this year, he's going to be critical. He is massively important. It's the same thing with Arian Smith. If Arian Smith finishes the season, and I know no one's going to like these numbers, but I'm just trying to prove a point. If he finishes the season with 20 catches for, I don't know, 350 yards, it's a crazy average, but you get my point. And 2 touchdowns, his value could go way past those numbers just based on the fact that he's moving the free safety, 3 to 5 yards deeper than he normally would, to get him away from a Garrett Wilson dig. So these positions, what they're going to ask these guys to do, and Tyrod included, are sometimes a lot more important than it seems.
I love this. If the Jets tank, we're going to pick the wrong quarterback anyway, play the games. Exactly. Just
yeah, it's true.
Unreal.
I'm hearing the Archie stuff a lot already.
He's not even coming out.
I wouldn't bank on it. Yeah, I wouldn't bank on him coming out. No way.
I just think it's interesting that, you look at next year's quarterback class. McShay did a mock, 4 guys in the top 10, had Archie staying in school, and there were still that many quarterbacks he thought were going to be top 10 picks.
Yeah, what were the mocks at this point last year for quarterbacks? That's the question I want to know.
Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it just goes to show you, folks.
Sanders.
Yep. It just goes to show you an entire year. I mean, 1 week moves the needle in a big way. Forget an entire year. So I wouldn't. There is 0% of Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji thinking about the 2026 NFL draft right now. I could assure
Darren
you.
Muhay, as Joe Beningo would call him.
Oh, I thought it was a legit change that I missed. Yeah, I saw Joe B on your show the other day. I caught a little bit
full of Jet optimism.
Yeah. What was his prediction? 13 wins, I think I heard.
No.
Oh my God. And I saw the call from the caller. I caught the end of Beningo's appearance and the call from the caller just befuddled about Joe B's rosy emotions right now.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it.
C says, I'm hopeful I'm a Jet for life. Garrett Wilson, pay this man and put the C on his chest. Also, go Knicks. Amen to the go Knicks part C. And
yeah,
look, as far as Garrett goes, I do think him and the Jets are going to get a deal done. I'll talk more about this in detail tomorrow when we got O'Leary on the show. But I think Garrett Wilson being there, Glenn saying what he said about Garrett, these are all good things. I think he's going to be a part of this team for a long time, and he should be. Garrett Wilson, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. If he plays his whole career as a Jet, he's going to have every record in franchise history at that position. He should be a Jet his whole career.
I mean, and receiver is the one, not one, but one of the positions that isn't terrible in Jets history. I mean, Don Maynard's one of the all-time greats.
Yep.
Wesley Walker, Corbett, Toon. So you're spot on. I mean, the new rules help him for sure. The new league, he would have every receiving record in franchise history, no question, if he plays his whole career with the Jets. But yeah, him and Sauce, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if they lock him up.
100%. And ultimately, he's about the right stuff. Like, I think he should be a captain. It's actually an interesting conversation here. Final question for you, Robbie, then we'll let you run.
Mm-hmm.
Predict the captains for the 2025 Jets. I think there's two that are obvious, right? Justin Fields and Quinnen Williams. And then after that, I would love to see both Sauce and Garrett, this being, their fourth years now in the league, be captains on this team. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think it's out of the question at all. Garrett and Sauce, I think it's realistic. Fields, obviously. Quinnen should be.
He's been a captain the last couple of years.
Yes, but I think Sherwood will be the main captain on the defense. So let's go Fields offense, Sherwood, Quinnen on defense. You got your special teams guy. Who the hell knows at this point?
Won't be Thomas Morstead or Greg Zuerlein.
Yeah, it's not going to be. I doubt it's going to be Hennessy. So Fields, yeah, I think that's fair. Fields,
Jamie and Sherwood, a lot of love for.
I think Sherwood's going to get
Glenn.
captain. Yeah, I think Sherwood will be captain. Sherwood, Quinnen on defense, Fields, or Garrett, or Fields and one of the linemen, maybe AVT. I don't know. It could go either way.
Also, how about John Simpson?
Simpson as well. Yeah,
he's the vet of that room, and he's like, we saw it last year, right? I remember the New England game. They threw Breece Hall and got a personal foul penalty for like the style of hit they put on him. It was an illegal hit, and John Simpson got in whoever that player on the Patriots face was immediately. That was great leadership. You
gotta love that. When you have a bulldog lineman like that, you gotta love it. What are the rules now? Is it still 6 max captains, and you have to have one from offense, defense, and special teams? Do you know?
I actually don't know if there's specific rules for that.
I know it's changed. It's interesting. I mean, it feels like teams are forced to have a special teams captain no matter what. Oh, wow. There are no strict rules limiting the number of captains the team can designate.
Didn't the Giants have a year where like half their team was captains and they were getting like clowned for that? They had like 15 captains.
That's pretty outrageous. They should go to the hockey rule. Actually, there's too many players. Go to the hockey rule, but one per unit. One offense, one defense, and no.
You only would have 3. One offense, one defense, one special teams.
Let's go with the assistant captains. One offensive captain, one defensive captain, 2 assistants on each side. I'm down with that.
Maybe do 2 on each unit. Special teams only gets 1.
You could do that too. And
in that case, you have 5 total. Yeah.
That works. And in that case, I think, Quinnen, it would be Quinnen, Sherwood, Fields, and then either Garrett or one of the linemen. So we'll see.
Robbie, appreciate your time as always.
All right. Later, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robby Sabo, JetsXFactor.com, promo code Asman, JetX membership. Support Robbie. Him and his team are awesome. We'll have Nick Ferry on with us later this week. He's now a part of JetX. So things are happening. Dylan predicts Fields, Garrett, Quinnen, Sherwood, Hennessy as the captains. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Jet Nation, Jake, at what point are you going to have a mental breakdown on Fields? I mean, my expectations for this season in general are relatively low, so I don't think you're going to see anywhere near the level of anger I've had the last couple of years after some of these games. I still care, but, let me put it like this. If the Jets are bad this year, it's not going to hurt as much. Just won't. I have been through hell and back. There's nothing they could do this year that will somehow be worse than the last two. All right. Before we get to your calls here, I pulled some sound from Connor Hughes of SNY. These were his observations from today's OTA.
All right, walking off here after the first media open organized team activity for the New York Jets. All eyes are on number 7, that is Justin Fields. Unfortunately, not too much to say about Fields because there were protection breakdown after protection breakdown after protection breakdown for the Jets during the 11-on-11 full team period of practice. Unofficially, I had them for 6 sacks. I can see an argument for 5. I thought Quincy Williams would have gotten home. If you want to say that the dump-off pass to Breece Hall was complete, okay, fine, whatever. Either way, lots of pressure, and lots of pressure from one guy in particular, Will McDonald. I had him for 3 sacks today, just dynamic, dominant presence off the edge. Aaron Glenn actually told us after practice he is 15 pounds heavier. That is big, big, big news. Because the belief now is that McDonald will be much more effective at setting the edge and being a more complete, well-rounded defensive end for the Jets. 2 other main takeaways. Garrett Wilson, much more happy this offseason, certainly than years past, probably because his old college teammate is here in Fields, but also the fact he has a head coach in Aaron Glenn who said getting the ball to Wilson over and over and over again is a top priority for this team. Fields, I will say this on him. We did see him complete some passes in 7-on-7 drills because there was no pass rush, and that ball absolutely flies out of his hands. 2 highlight throws I saw, one to Allen Lazard, one to Garrett Wilson, both in that deep middle portion of the field. So when Fields does have time to throw, he certainly has the ability to do that here at Jets practice.
Well, let's hope he has plenty of time to throw, because if he doesn't, the Jets have failed, because they have invested more premium resources in their offensive line than any team in football over the last 10 years. Seriously. This offensive line needs to be one of the best units in football. Your left tackle is a top 11 pick. Your center is a high second-round pick. Your right guard, a guard, is a first-round pick. In the top half of the first round, mind you. Armand Membu is a top 7 pick. The only guy that's a bit of a journeyman, he might actually be one of the best free agent signings they've made the last couple of years, by far, John Simpson, who I would try and extend now, by the way, before he goes into his walk year, for what it's worth. I don't think they'll do it, but I'd get out in front of it because I think he's made of the right stuff. This team has to be dominant. And 4 of the 5 guys have already played with one another, so there should be some continuity there. This O-line coach better get them up to snuff, and they should be ready to roll. Will McDonald being awesome is positive. I like Will McDonald a lot. For him to take that next step, he does have to be a more well-rounded player. And that's what I think we love Jermaine Johnson, right? He was the best Jets defensive end as far as being able to do both. Charles Gorman writes in, it's just OTAs, guys. Calm down. Ladies and gentlemen, for more on the New York Jets, let's say hello for the first time today to the Charles Eugene M. Gorman.
Hey, Charles! You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. Hey, Charles! I'm not saying that Lowski takes steroids. I need some of it. Hey, Charles! Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles!
Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hey, Charles.
Tomorrow's the big day, as you all know.
Moving day. That's bold of you to assume that everyone who watches my show, a YouTube channel, mind you, that is approaching 42,000 subscribers, knows that tomorrow is the day that you're moving into your first apartment on your own.
Yeah, no, it's an incredible experience.
Now, what's the deal? Where are you at right now?
I'm at the Rio Donner with Steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie Gorman. There he is. How's the diner, Charles? What are you ordering?
Salmon with pasta on the side.
You're getting salmon at the diner. That's an interesting call.
Yes, and I had chicken soup. Their chicken soup.
Yeah, how does it compare to your
my
mom's
mother's?
chicken soup? Yeah,
It's good, but my mom's is better
I see.
because it's home cooked. Yeah, the reason why I said I calmed down with OTAs is because, to say their offensive line is going to suck because of one OTA practice is a little ridiculous. I mean, weren't there times when last year when our defense dominated our offensive line and there were times where our offensive line dominated the defensive line? So let's pump the brakes. It's just OTAs. I'm not saying the Jets have a great offensive line already, but if our offensive line understands the scheme, give the offensive line time to comprehend the scheme, and let's see what happens, Hopefully we do have a great offensive line for the first time in over a decade.
Some questions from the audience. Luppy says, Charles, are you scared to sleep alone the first night?
Parmesan, marinara, anything? I was going to say tomato sauce. Yeah, marinara sauce would be perfect, yes. Add some grated cheese. Thank you. I'm going to just throw some marinara on. Thank you. Am I scared to sleep alone the first night? I slept alone before.
Have you?
Okay, I slept alone when I was on a camping trip. I mean, I'm not going to use a nightlight. I'm not scared of the dark like a little kid. No offense to little kids out there.
Do you need me to read you a...
No, Jake, you don't need to read me a darn bedtime story.
Okay. I didn't even get to finish. How do you know I was going to say bedtime story?
I just had a feeling.
Maybe I was going to read you a motivational speech.
I don't need to know motivational speech when I'm sleeping.
Ted wants to know, will you break your own self-imposed curfew the first night?
Probably not. Who knows?
Some are speculating that the salmon at the diner is going to go through you. Roseanne says, diner salmon going to tear you up later, Charles.
Probably, Roseanne. Probably.
Now, when that happens, what are you not going to do?
Hold on, putting some grated cheese on my pasta, as you can see. Hold on.
Answer the question, Charles. Answer the question.
What's the question?
When the diner salmon goes through you later, what are you not going to do?
Calling a Bobby show, taking a dump.
There you go. See? The man learned his lesson. Question from Oscar here. It's more of a suggestion. He says, Charles, don't go broke eating at the diner. Eat in your new pad once in a while. Have a home-cooked meal.
Good point, Oscar. I'll keep that in mind.
Folks, if you have any advice for Charles, who's about to be living on his own for the first time starting tomorrow, please write it in, and we will relay that information. Peter Castro says, Charles, will you cook?
Probably. Maybe a little bit. Maybe some eggs.
Adam says, make sure you have a toolkit, a broom. You're on your own now.
I don't know.
Roseanne says a Gorman quake is about to unleash in his new bathroom.
Come on, Roseanne. You got to be...
Is she wrong?
Thanks, Roseanne.
I mean, we got to call it how it is. She's right. We've seen you, man. A Gorman blast is a weapon of mass destruction.
Excuse me.
Jet Nation
Salmon's
doesn't
delicious.
think you tip well.
I do tips.
Boomtown says you should stock up on toilet paper and paper towels.
I will. Don't worry.
Barbarossa writes in, hot take, but I think Charles taking a dump on Bobby's show is not only hilarious, but I also encourage him to do this more.
I appreciate the honesty, Barbarossa, but no thank you.
Ralphie wants to know if you'll make your bed every day or will your mom come and do it?
I'll do it on my own.
Dylan writes in, Charles, keep your place clean so the lovely ladies will want to enter.
I'll keep that in mind.
Barbarossa says, just call into YouTube shows taking a dump. That could be your thing.
How about I don't do that?
The bad fella writes in, Charles, will you let Bobby take a crap in your bathroom as an olive branch of friendship?
Sure, if he's willing to come over.
Cincy Matt says, make sure you have a plunger and plenty of Drano.
I think my bathroom already has a plunger, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
You better check. Luppy says, don't forget to buy some Lysol.
I'll keep that in mind.
Dixon says that you want to give your waitress the tip.
Very funny, Dixon, yes.
Barbarossa says you don't have any money, but also tips well. Roseanne says, hey, Charles, can you actually smack your lips louder while eating?
I guess she's being sarcastic.
Team Curry says, stop smacking while you eat. New Q writes in, does Steady Eddie smack his lips that loudly too?
I have no idea.
Sarah says, Charles, I can't wait to visit when I finally get there. Are you going to host Sarah at your place?
As long as Hawk's okay with it.
Calm your freaky down.
Jesus Christ. It's not like that, Jake.
How am I supposed to know? I don't know your guys' relationship.
I've yet to meet Sarah in person.
Let's see. Boomtown wants to know how many people are on the list for the housewarming party.
I haven't decided yet.
Okay. Batfellow wants to know, do you have any stuffed animals?
Like a teddy bear? I think so. I've got to look for it.
Dylan says you chew
I had
like
an
a cow.
orangutan. Sorry.
Hey, Charles, give us a moo.
Delicious, man.
Roseanne wants to know if she could use your toilet. Hey, tell the waiter you're on the Jake Adams.
Thank you, buddy. He just left.
Ah.
You can use it, Roseanne. You, Peg, Sarah, Carly, if she's willing to come to New Jersey.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I know.
So you have no
How bad
problem
is
if lovely ladies use your toilet?
Do I have a problem if they use it to powder their noses? No, I don't.
All right, Charles. Well, good luck with the move tomorrow. We're all excited about it, and we're ready for that first call after you christen your new toilet.
Very funny. Look. Also, I also wanted to say that I'm glad Aaron Glenn is really getting involved with both sides of the football, unlike Mr. Robert Saleh. That's what I've been hearing. Also, go New York, go New York, go. Let's kick some ass, Knicks. That's all I want to say. Peace out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Gorman.
You'll never get my chicken soup recipe. I'm not saying that those he takes steroids. Need some of it. Hey, Charles. Who is that lovely lady? Send it this way, Charles.
Barbarossa says, if he calls in while christening the new toilet, I will die. Also, do ladies still powder their noses? Is that a thing? That's not a thing. Luppy says, Jake, will you let Charles call from the toilet? Yeah, I honestly, Charles, your first call, your inaugural call from the new place, it better be from your toilet. All right? Doesn't mean you need to be dumping. You can call from the toilet. Boomtown says, if that doesn't inspire the Knicks to victory tonight, I don't know what will. Alan says, Charles keeps New Jersey diners in business. And diners are so expensive now. You go to any diner around here, it's ridiculous. I used to love diners. It's so much money. I'd rather go to a real restaurant at that point. If I'm going to spend $80 for a meal. It's crazy. Good comment here from Una. He says, damn, I ain't been around in a while. Charles is still around, question mark. What about Beast's fat ass? Beast, how you doing?
I'm reading. I'm okay. I'm just doing a little bit of research on my stuff here. Just doing some, research. I'm doing a little bit of doing everything here by myself here and calming down. And I'm not answering the phone right now. I'm not answering. It's just a bunch of hoopla, hooligan nonsense. Tomorrow I got work. First thing in the morning at 11.
Where you
Back
going?
to work. Gotta make money. Can't just sit on your ass and do it. You gotta go. That's right. With the $62 for breakfast. Wow, boy, it sure takes me a couple years back. I remember a couple years ago I used to get a breakfast for $8. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah.
Hey, Beast, is Animal Control calling?
Do you know how much breakfast is nowadays? If you go to a Les Brothers, you're paying $15 for a steak, eggs, and hash browns, and they give you a choice of sides, either toast or pancakes, which I'm not interested on pancakes. I'm not a pancakes person. I'm a French toast person, and I like powdered sugar, and I don't like maple syrup. I'm a blueberry syrup kind of a man.
Hey, Beast, Una hasn't watched the show in 3 months. He's shocked you're still a regular caller. Can you fill him in on what he's missed?
You haven't missed nothing yet, kid. You know what, Mr. Castro? I'm getting sick of you with your eat Joey this, eat Joey that. You know what? There's one thing that I'm going to do from the 80s, and it's one of these. Yeah, right there.
Wait, where'd you go, Beast?
No, you lost the signal. No. Can I explain something to all these morons here? Guinea pigs eat fruits and vegetables 80% of the time. They love their hay. They like their pellets. Pellets are 10% of their body weight. Don't you all pay attention to read books? Jesus Christ, you people! I swear to God, I thought I must have been the dumb one in school. Well, nope, I stayed in school. I never cut class. Never did. Never had the time. And plus, I never went to my prom. You know why? Couldn't afford it. I wasn't gonna pay no $1,000 for what? What? Some stupid shit, crappy music, nonsense, garbage.
$1,000 for prom?
Yeah, back then it was $1,000.
How is it so much money? My high school prom was
because
at
back then,
Cipriani's,
I know how
and it
Curie
was
High
on
School is. They were all about money. They don't care. That's why I was like, nope, not interested.
$1,000 for prom does not sound right.
Well, that was their limit back then, because I didn't know what the hell was going on, because I was busy doing Radium News. I was actually doing my own thing, keeping my grades up, and just doing what's right for business. And then by the time June of 2004 showed up, I knew it was time for me to graduate.
Was your prom at Buckingham Palace?
There was no. The prom was somewhere, I don't know where. I wasn't interested in prom. Prom was not a big thing anyway. Plus, why would you go to prom anyway? Prom nowadays, they don't play the music like they used to. You know why? Today's music is trash.
A lot of people go to prom. I went to prom.
Not like they used to. Not the way today's society is. You got to be careful out here with society nowadays. You don't know if you're going to get
today's
jumped.
society, they go to prom
You
more.
don't know if you're going to get jumped or raped or screwed or pushed or even punched in the face. You got to be careful nowadays out here. You don't know what you're going to expect. You don't know if you're going to get a gun pulled on you. You don't know if you're going to get robbed. You don't know if you're going to get shot at. You don't even know what's going to happen.
Is this World War II or high school prom?
The prom was held here in Illinois. See, I know what's going on. See, there's an app on my phone called the Citizens app. Tells me thousands of things. That's why I prepare myself for anything that happens. For example, if there's a shooting or a raping or somebody or some kind of fight breaking out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, on that note, we're gonna move on. I don't know what type of prom Beast Breakers high school did, but that was not my experience at prom at all. Good God. To answer your question, Una, yes, Beast is still around. And if you haven't been watching, he's got an arch nemesis named Bobby Beasley that has been out to get him. I don't know how we follow that up. There's a couple people on hold, and out of respect to the show, I don't think I want to put them in a spot to have to follow that one up. But there is a guy on hold that I do think can give us a chance to handle what just occurred properly.
Plants are trying to kill me, so I think I'll eat a stick of butter.
Yeah, I was gonna defend that because I'm about the same age as Beast, right? I think I graduated a year before him. But yeah, prom's gonna cost you $1,000, and I'm from Texas, so it's probably more expensive in Chicago. It's gonna cost you $1,000 easy.
He said the ticket was $1,000.
No, I think the whole thing, like, okay, so your ticket and your chick's ticket, it was probably $250, but that's not it's the limo, it's everything else. That the whole thing. Remember, I canceled mine like a week before because I had a boxing tournament, right? I didn't go, but I don't know that I spent $1,000. I probably spent $700 or $800, and I was in.
Yeah, but
Texas,
we're talking
which is
about
a lot cheaper than Chicago.
We're talking about the ticket. Him saying it's $1,000.
I don't think he's just talking about the ticket. I think he's talking about the whole, like the top.
Beast, are you talking about the
limo,
ticket was
everything.
$1,000 or the entire price of prom?
Experience.
The entire
Yeah.
price was $1,000, and that includes everything from top to bottom. That's how they were doing things because I wasn't interested in prom. I was interested in getting graduated and moving forward. See, I know what the hell is going on.
What is
I thought he was going to say I wasn't
include?
interested in the prom. I was interested in getting laid. I thought that's what he was going to say.
I'm not interested. I wasn't interested in getting laid. I was not
I wasn't
interested in that at the moment. When I came from a crappy school, I wanted to go forward, pick up the ball, move effing forwards, and just move on with life. I was a stressed man going through a tough time.
Sounds like you still are.
Oh, I would love to see somebody with their kind of shoes walk into my world and not survive. I've been to the 8 circles of hell. That's Dante's Inferno. I've been to the 7 gates. I've experienced more of it. And I won't be here Monday. I will be enjoying time with my family. I don't need this fishing expedition. What's that goddamn noise? I hear some weird noises around and I don't like.
Is there a ghost in the attic?
No, but I hear a lot of strange crap, and I don't like that noise. That's kind of freaky in my book. I don't like any of that freaky. Don't be freaky with me. I hear something. Hold on. I hear noises in this speaker. I don't like that noise.
It sounds like it's in the attic.
No, it's not.
It's
No,
behind
it ain't.
you.
No, it ain't.
Is it Bobby Beasley?
Enough of that. That guy's a loser. And no, Peter Castro, after I'm done with that loser, I'm going to DDT your ass. Take the snake style. And remember, if you come rattle this tree and see if old Damien will come out. Hey, trust me.
You get the fuck out.
Lot happening there.
Yeah. I got to leave in like 2 minutes. Morgan's about to leave. I just wanted to go on and say like, $1,000 for prom in.
Morgan is there and you didn't bring her with you for this call? Ask her how much her prom was.
She's busy. I'll report back to you tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
With
With her on screen.
Possibly. We'll discuss it. Okay. Maybe. Guys, over the top. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary.
Joe Douglas should have been fired 2 days before he was hired.
What an incredible sequence there. Hit the like button. Reminder, if you're interested in any of our meetups we got planned for the Jet season, we got some details on Tampa already in the Discord. More to come. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Name added to the intro. 20% off all merch items. Bonus shows. Check it out. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Scotty Mayhem, if you call back, I will put you on right away. You were on hold the longest. I saw you just dropped off. I'll get to you immediately. In the meantime, Philly Noodles, you're next. What's up, Philly?
What's up, bro? Yeah, he would just gabagooled on us for like a good 5 minutes there. We got Citizen, Samaritan, Beastbreaker, Litigator, Fighter, Pugilist. Yeah, he's on fire, man. He can't be stopped.
That was a pretty elite, like back to
right.
back to back of calls, though. We went Gorman to Beast to Gary. That is a who's who of Asmaniacs.
And Gary coming into the rescue to say, "Oh no, that's legit," but you know, he still had some semantics to it. Of course, there was like
as usual.
Yeah, of course. The Morgan situation is hilarious. It's like he's a married man, and he's like, "I'm not gonna put her on screen. Just put the nanny on the screen, bro. It's not gonna kill it."
Look, because Gary wouldn't come through for us. The only logical thing I suppose I could do, Philly Noodles, is give people what they want, right?
Yeah,
people want some Morgan, so I'll give them a little Morgan.
And this is my nanny, babysitter, assistant, helper lady.
Hello.
Hello.
She goes to Oklahoma.
Morgan, how long have you been a nanny to Decker?
3 years, since 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
You and Gary's wife have done a great job because there's no way Decker turned out the way she did because of Gary. I'm just catching up on some of the comments here, and this is for everyone. You know who you are.
Calm your freaky down.
Just saying. Eric says, good thing Jake didn't put Bobby on. Could you imagine? Some of these comments, man. Jake, you don't want to read the comments. That's true. I can't even read these comments, man. You guys are terrible. Gary, what are your thoughts on everyone seemingly being a big fan of your nanny?
She's fantastic. She's the best.
She is. That she is. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Gary's nanny needs her own emoji. This chat is going wild today, folks. All right. Richard Todd is watching the show in delay, says, just saw Gary's nanny. Interesting. What's so interesting about it? Top Cat says we need Scott to normalize the chat again.
See, I was just looking out for the audience. I was trying to give
I get it.
what they wanted.
1000%. You're a man of the people. We already know this.
That's what I do.
A few things to talk about real quick. I saw you pop up on my Facebook on the ESPN Network channel with your picture there. You're killing it. What's your take on the Knicks in 6, was it, right?
Knicks in 6, Jalen Brunson, the MVP. Yep.
Yes, sir. That was pretty dope. I said, oh, shoot.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. I think I'm making that Tampa game.
Let's go, Philly Noodles. Let's go.
My son lives in Tampa, so he's here for the summer, and we can't take him to any
How old
partaking
is your
Jets
son?
stuff. 12.
And how old are you?
37.
Damn. You have a 12-year-old son?
Spanish don't vanish. You know what I'm saying? That's great, bro.
I
1000%.
thought you were a lot younger than 37.
That's why Dylan's my cousin. You know what I mean? We'll stick with that. Like, I'm his age. We're 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Young at heart. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Oh yeah. So what was the other take? Oh, first off, Aaron Glenn is definitely making a mood change in that locker room everywhere. You could tell the guys are acting different. And Garrett Wilson floored me. Like the way he like owned up to his behaviors last year, saying like, "Hey, dude, like I understand what I did. I get it, how I was acting, but I need to learn how to reflect and be a different type of professional." Dude, this is going to be a revealing season. All the guys that have been there and buying in, this could be. Forward progress. You know what I mean? 1000%.
100%.
Yeah.
I really like what we have heard from Aaron Glenn. I like what we've heard from some of the players about this new regime. We got to see it on the field, but if you want to be hopeful, be hopeful. Like I think there's a lot to like so far for what it's worth.
Yeah. And I mean, he sounds like he wants to sign that contract when it comes up to it, but he's letting, let play dictate how it's going to be and let that all settle separately. Because there's different players out there who want to talk about it, who want to stir a pot. He doesn't want to stir a pot. And it makes me feel good that one of our leaders in the locker room is going to be like that. That's been here. And he's still
saying,
young, so.
I want to be a Jet for life is big.
Yeah.
Like putting that out there. No, because, when he's been asked about it in the past, he's like, I'm where my feet are. Like, I want to be here, but I don't control it. Like, he definitively went out of his way to make it clear he wants to be here, which I think is a good thing.
And I found it funny how he couldn't say on record on the mic, I can't believe the Jets didn't select Justin Fields at number 2, but he was like, I can't believe he fell to 15. And like, I thought he was going to get drafted here or there. Like when it came to that night when they selected Zach Wilson instead. But I don't know. I just good vibes. You know what I mean? And I say Knicks in 7. You go Knicks in 7, and if Cat Williams can shut down with Mitchell Robinson can shut down Miles Turner, I think they win the series without a doubt.
Miles, look, the Pacers are good. Turner's a good player. Siakam's a good player. They got some guys on the bench that are going to drive you crazy, like McConnell. But
No.
I think it's the next time.
Yeah, hell yeah. And let's keep gabagooling and keeping that gabagool energy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
1,000%.
a 37-year-old man himself, Philly Noodles, with a 12-year-old son. Congrats on the sex at a younger age, Philly Noodles. My God. Your kid's 12 and you're 37?
Yes, sir.
Love it. All right. We'll wrap it up here. Last chance to get in the raffle for the day. Clyde Frazier jersey, top prize. Joe Namath jersey, second place prize. CJ Mosley jersey, third place prize. Gift a membership or send in the requisite super chat to be entered in our raffle. Charles A. Gorman says Knicks in 5 or 6 against the Pacers. Charles, I need more of a definitive take from you. 5 or 6 is a big difference. Roseanne says Knicks in 7 will send me into a mental hospital. That would be the ultimate stress. Let's hope it doesn't get that. Come to that. Scotty Mayhem is up next. Scotty, I apologize for not getting to you sooner, but I figured after that beast call, we had to go to Gary because I didn't want to put you in a spot to follow that up. My God.
First, let me just say, wow. Between the Charles Gorman, I was getting into the food, and then we got into Jet Nation fixated on bowel movements of Charles Gorman, which I don't understand the fixation on that, but I understand some of the mistakes he's made in the past. But then the beast, going from that to the beast darkness and the ghost sounds that I heard, I mean, yeah, that would have been really hard to discuss what I want to talk about, a little Jets, but mostly the Knicks tonight. I know how big of a fan you are, Jake. I just wanted to know, did you go to the Game 6 Annihilation? Were you at the Garden for that game?
Yeah, I haven't missed a home playoff game yet. I've been at every one.
Well, it gives me a lot of confidence that you're going to be there tonight. Knowing that Alon, I know you guys call him Allen, but it's Alon. Knowing that Alon is on any team that the Knicks are playing's bandwagon, like he was on the Boston Celtics bandwagon, and then when they were down 3-1, he already jumped on the Pacers bandwagon. Just knowing he's rooting for the Pacers gives us an amazing advantage. So
Agreed.
I'm really confident. Like you said, Jake, you know, last year we were playing with nobody. I mean, our whole team was injured and we went 7 games. So I'm super confident the way that we were prepared, like you said, against, you know, the Detroit Pistons prepared us for the Celtics and the Celtics got us ready. I'm super confident. I think the Knicks are going to win in 6. Indiana is no joke. They're going to be running up and down. My one concern is the amount of minutes that our starters play and that we don't have a very, a bench that can stack up against the Pacers. But other than that, I think our players, really match up well. I know you think we're going to win. What do you think? 6 games? I can't take 7 games.
Yeah, I like the Knicks in 6. I think it's going to be a long series, though. Like, I think Indiana's good. The minute stuff doesn't really concern me. The Knicks are built for how the playoffs now are. You're going to shorten your rotation anyway. And like we saw, Cleveland all year, they're well rested, ready for the playoffs. And then Donovan Mitchell's out of gas and is like, bending over at the free throw line, completely gassed, unable to play well late in these games. Like we've seen that throughout the playoffs. The Knicks are built for these long back and forth battles that come down to the wire. We got the best player on the floor in crunch time, and they're used to playing these long minutes. So the key is, can they stay healthy through this series, right? Because Pacers have more depth. If it's a war of attrition, they're going to win if the Knicks suffer some catastrophic injuries here. You never root for that, but I think at full strength, the Knicks are fully healthy right now. I think the Knicks are a better team. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it's just a matter of the length of the bench. But I do think the Knicks stack up really well against the Pacers. I love the way Mitchell Robinson's playing. I love the way Deuce McBride is playing.
Yep.
And, the 5 starters, I mean, it was just amazing to me. No team's ever come back from being down 20 points in 2 games. The way they were so mentally strong. I mean, this is a throwback team from the 90s. This is not a throw it up a 3-pointer team. They can shoot 3-pointers, but this is an old school team. I love the Knicks, not as much as I love the Jets, which I want to talk about, but, the Knicks, I absolutely love the team. I hope that we win the way the Knicks win, gritty, ugly, and just mentally strong. But talking about the Jets, listen, the thing that I loved hearing about is just the fundamentals. We had the worst coaching the last 3 years. I mean, acknowledged as a top 5 roster last year. And just after even Salah left, and it was just it just highlighted the lack of coaching that we had. Just terrible, awful coaches. No accountability on the team. Glenn could care less. He could care less about being friends with anybody. Glenn wants the right players, the players that are going to be mentally strong. He is a coach. He's a coach of the players, but he's not looking to be friends. Salah was looking to be friends with the team, and we don't need that. So my expectations are a lot higher than yours, Jake. I understand, the last few years have been absolutely miserable, but I really believe Justin Fields is going to be an absolute revelation because he's got all the tools. He's never had an offensive line like we have. Look at the top 8 teams last year. 7 out of 8 of them with top offensive lines went to the playoffs. So just based on that, if we can give Glenn the benefit of the doubt, and I agree with you. If Engstrand is as good as we hope he is, because he worked with, one of the top offensive coaches in Ben Johnson. Listen, we are missing a wide receiver too, but you can do it by committee. That's how they did it in Detroit. And I think we have more than enough talent. May sound like pie in the sky, but I think we have more than enough.
Very good point, Scotty. Your internet was crapping out at the end there, but we got the gist of it. Look, 100%. Engstrand, Glenn, Fields, 3 most important people, I could argue, with the 2025 Jets. Engstrand is vital in this. He really is. We don't know what he is. It'd be nice to feel great about the offensive coordinator. You like what people have said about him. You like his background, but we don't know how he will be as a first-time play caller at the NFL level. Hopefully he's awesome, right? I mean, then someone the other day was like, man, the Jets could be in trouble if Fields has this breakout year and then, all these teams want to hire Tanner Engstrand. And I'm thinking to myself, let's hope that happens. That's a good problem to have. People said that about Mike LaFleur. Remember, we're not going to have him for long. And then what? Let's have that problem for once. Our problems are usually our play callers are terrible. So that'd be a great problem to have. I hope Tanner Engstrand does such a good job. Fields is awesome that, NFL teams want to hire Tanner Engstrand away from the Jets as a head coach. Rick Kent is in the raffle for 5. The great Rick Kent.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed too.
The following 5 people are channel members: Roseanne, Clancy, Ryan, Raymond Nagy, and Eli Betts. How about that? An elite group of Asmaniacs in that crop of 5. All right, last chance here for raffle entries. Couple quick calls at the buzzer. Thunderlips, you're next. Hello, Thunderlips.
Cameron, what do you want to tell him?
Go New York! Yay!
Let's go Knicks.
Yeah, Cameron wanted to call and say what's up, brother. How you doing?
Thunderlips, how we feeling?
Good, great. I'm super pumped for tonight's game, and I'm happy. I'm happy for the kids, man. They got to actually see success for once,
Yeah, tell them this is not normal. Tell them that my whole life I've never seen this.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when you were on Sirius, like before the draft, I was listening to you on the radio, and like you were doing some Knicks talk, and this dude called in saying how the Knicks were gonna get knocked out of the first round because they couldn't handle the pick and roll and shit like that.
Yeah, you're right.
You were like defending them that like in the playoffs, it's a whole nother season and stuff. I wish that dude would call back because that shit did not age well. You know what I mean?
That's a great point. I wish I was better at remembering times I was right so I could accentuate them, but I completely forgot that happened.
That's what I'm here for, man. I timestamped that for you, bro.
I love it. Great call, Thunder. Let's go
I just want to
Knicks.
call and say what's up. You have a good one, brother. Go Knicks.
Go Knicks. Yeah, Cameron, let's go, baby. Go Knicks. Yeah, I got into it with this guy on the radio on Mad Dog. And I ended up being right. There you go. This guy's pumped up. Purple Belt Mike is next. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, I wanted to show you my hat, but I'm mowing my lawn, so I don't have it on. But
You're
let's go
mowing your
Knicks,
lawn
baby.
like Beast Breaker?
Yeah. I gotta
Hell yeah, Mike.
fix up the clumps and all that. But it's starting to rain, so it's clumping up a little. But let's go Knicks. I don't want to be superstitious, but the days I called in and said it, they won, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity. So let's go Knicks, baby.
Mike. Also, I did
Let's
see
go.
what your hat looks like. You put it in the Discord.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'll wear it when I call in tomorrow. I'll wear it.
Hell yeah. It looks good on you, Mike.
Rock out.
Tremendous hoodie.
Peace.
Mike mowing the lawn. Beast, your thoughts on his lawnmower technique there?
Very
From
nice.
One
Very
lawnmower to another.
Hey, as long as it works, you got to make sure you check your oil, check your gas, and if there's no oil there, you got to go get yourself a quart of oil. Castrol GTX. Make sure you put it in. Take the throttle out. Check the nozzle, and then see if there's oil on the line. If there's oil on the line, then you're good. Then put it back in. Do 3 pumps. 3. 1, 2, 3. Start. If it doesn't start, do it again. Check your oil gauge.
Hey,
Make
Beast.
sure you have gas.
I can't end this show without a little Jalen Brunson crossover to get us ready for the Knicks tonight.
You know what I wouldn't mind doing today? Wouldn't mind doing a Slam City. Let's
Oh,
go slamming.
take us to Slam City.
Game 1. Let's go. Go New York. Say go New York.
Go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go! Say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Tremendous. All right, one last call, ladies and gentlemen. We're headed to the closer on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline. To close us out tonight is...
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Good luck tonight. I have family members who are hardcore rooting against you. You guys beat us. So remember last time I said last year if you guys beat us, I'll root for you guys.
I don't remember this, but I appreciate the reminder.
I'm hoping you guys finally get one, like for my uncle. Like my uncle from California grew up in New York and was constantly between a New York fan and he wasn't a fan of any hockey team other than the LA Kings, though. He enjoyed the 90s at least.
I'm glad to hear that your family has some ties to New York.
Yeah. Well, most of my family has ties to Boston, but like I have family members who have ties to New York, and most of them are just Giants fans, so they haven't witnessed anything in a while. But like they're Knicks fans, and they're telling me, "Are you upset at us?" I'm like, "No, go get your ring. Go do something that you guys couldn't do with in the 90s. Like those 90s teams, I looked at the roster compared to now. I'm like, maybe this is the year. Maybe you get over the hump."
Let's hope so. Let's rub our hands together in unison, Chiefs fan, and try and manifest it.
And you're beating the hell out of Indiana. Like as a family, I was growing up in Chicago watching the Bulls beat the shit out of the Pacers. Sorry for the language. It's just gonna be like 2.0, but it's gonna be my rival doing it. So good luck. I'm hoping that Fields gets better in the practices. Hearing 3 sacks. I don't know if that's normal for OTAs. I've never been to one. I just read up on my team and listen to your show about your team. So hopefully everything goes well. And those who want to trade Tyrod, you got to screw loose. Like Jake said, talking to the other guy earlier, I can't remember his name. Short memory at times. What if he goes down?
Roseanne would like you to rub your hands together again.
I'm rooting for y'all. I had some mashed potatoes earlier with some stuff, so I got a little bit dirty down here, but I got my basketball shorts on to support you. It's not that much blue, but it is a little blue to support you guys tonight.
So you wore basketball shorts on this call for the Knicks?
Yeah, I'm wearing it for tonight. I switched my shifts, so my neighbor who had to work on Saturday, had to go do something with her kid on Sunday. And I'm like, just give me her Saturday shift. I'll just not go to the event that I was supposed to go to.
Can I hear more about these mashed potatoes that you had for dinner? Where were they from?
I made my own. I got some red potatoes and I made my own. I bought those small red potatoes and then I boil them and then I mash them and then I roast them and then I mash them from there. So the skin, I like my potatoes with the skin in them. So I roast my potatoes with salt.
Potato skin or human skin?
Potato skin.
Got it.
Come on now. I know potato. People say potato skin and mashed potatoes is bad. I love it. I grew up with that.
I like mashed potatoes. I always have.
Mashed potatoes.
It's not my favorite type of potato though.
What is?
I like a loaded baked potato.
I do too. Especially with the sour cream and the bacon. And I'm not talking about any weak bacon. I'm talking about that butcher cut bacon that's like as thick as your finger.
I see.
If you're gonna get bacon, people, I know you gotta save money, but like go to your butchery when that stuff's on sale. Every time I'm not supposed to eat it because of my cholesterol levels, but like I get 3 pounds when it's on sale for $5.99 a pound. And it's freshly made every day.
Tremendous. Well, Cheats fan, great call. Appreciate the
tonight,
insight.
y'all.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Good luck to you guys tonight, and good luck to Boomtown with the Oilers. Sorry, Gary. The Stars need to go.
He's a Senators fan.
Oh, no. Oh, Boomtown. Hopefully Canada can win something for him, basically.
I see. Cheats fan, farewell.
Peace.
It's Chiefs fan.
Guess what? I'm still looking for a job, bitches.
It's Chiefs fan.
I'm just going to rub my hands together all day.
It's Chiefs fan.
There's a whole lot of DNA on this couch.
Let's hear it for Chiefs fan.
Look, it's my dead neighbor that I didn't kill.
Now that's a show, folks. Let's go Knicks. I want to thank all of you who tuned in. We will have more on the Jets tomorrow. Matt O'Leary on the first show. Want to talk about Garrett Wilson's comments about wanting to be a Jet, what Aaron Glenn said about Garrett Wilson. Quinnen spoke today, took accountability for the tweet when the Jets got rid of Rodgers, and he was upset. A lot happened at the press conference at the podium today, and we'll cover some of that tomorrow. Today was all about what actually happened on the practice field as we had Robby on. On that note, I want to thank you all. Thanks to everyone who gifted a membership or sent in a super chat, everyone who called in. Thanks again to Robby Sabo who joined us and gave us some insider perspective on today's practice. My name is Jake Asman. I am off to the Garden. Let's go Knicks. I will talk to you guys soon. Jets. 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 Jets.
The only thing that can make this night better is some Charles Gorman Mother's Chicken Soup. Hello, Charles.
Hey, Charles, I need some more of that chicken soup.
It's Lenten season for us Christians/Catholics, so.
I need some of it, Charles.
And I'm sorry I didn't have any chicken soup today.
You sitting up there eating enchiladas.
I had a calzone for dinner.
I need it, Charles.
It was delicious.
Where is the recipes, Charles?
Anyways,
I need some of your mama's chicken soup.
I love to eat, so what can I say?
Yes.
I love this.
Jets got to get this offensive line figured out. Because it doesn't matter who we have on the center, because these assholes can't hold the line. I don't think the fuck. I think there's a little fire over there. Hold on. Or Jake, I might need you to call 911. Oh shit. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the hell's going on here? Oh my Lord. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh.
My bad, everybody.